Hi everybody, it's Sarah Hampton, aka the Wine Loving Bookworm, back with another book review. Sorry I missed last week. Life got a little hectic and I just didn't do one. And the same thing might go for next weekend. I'm going on vacation on Wednesday through Sunday, and I don't think I'll be able to do it on Sunday. If I have enough time, I will do one on Monday, but we'll just see how that goes. So let's start with the wine tonight. I did a Pinot Noir. I really wanted to do a white wine, and I totally forgot to put it in the refrigerator, so I can't do white. So again, we're doing another Pinot Noir. This is Gnarly Head Pinot Noir. It was not BOGO at Publix, surprisingly. They didn't have any wine I really wanted. That was BOGO, so I did that one. So let's give it a shot. I got my little Halloween skull glass rocking. Halloween's my favorite holiday. So let's try it out. That's pretty good. That is not bad. Probably not the best I've ever had, but definitely not the worst. Try it one more time. Not bad. For the price, that is a very decent wine. Okay, let's move on to the book. So, it's actually the week before, not last week since I missed a week. I read Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This was my book club book. My book club was last Wednesday, and it was my son's birthday, so I didn't go to book club, but I did read the book. Gail Honeyman, this is her debut novel, and she's up for a bunch of prizes for it. I think she won a prize for it. She's up for a bunch of other prizes. She's a graduate of the universities of Glasgow in Scotland and Oxford in England. And she was shortlisted for the Lucy Cavendish College Fiction Prize and the Women's Prize for Fiction. So, lots of awards to her name, or at least a lot of acclaim for this book. So let's talk about the book. I'm kind of still undecided about this book, about how I felt about it. It is about a woman named Eleanor Oliphant, who is very kind of rigid, stuck in her ways, very, into a routine, but she's only about 30. Makes her seem much older when you first start reading it because of her just huge emphasis on routine. She basically goes to work. She's some kind of accounting clerk. She eats the same thing for dinner every night. She's got this little place she stays in. Every Friday night she has pizza, and then buys some vodka, which she drinks throughout the weekends. So you think, okay, she's just is sort of on the track to be an old maid kind of thing. But they start to slip in little tidbits about her life. She doesn't really have any family to speak of that you really read about, except for her mother calls her every Wednesday. But it starts to be a little bizarre. Like, where's her mom? Like, it kind of seems like they're letting me call you now. This is my time to call you. Is she in jail? Is she in a hospital? Like, it just seemed very bizarre. And then you start to discover that she is disfigured somewhat. She's got some sort of scar on her face. So these little things start filtering through. And she does it. She's pretty adept at doing that. I actually liked it. It was kind of like a mystery sort of to figure out. So you were listening to these little, bits and pieces filtering through that didn't all sort of add up. She is infatuated with a man that she saw in a concert. He's a lead singer of a band, and she sort of becomes infatuated with this guy. So, as she thinks she's going to marry him, and like it's this weird thing, but kind of goes along with her mental state, being such a hermit. Maybe she's just not used to normal life. But she also strikes up a relationship of sorts, friendship more than anything else, with a guy from her office who's an IT guy. So she doesn't think much of him at the time, but that kind of changes as she goes along. So you kind of get these bits and pieces. Everybody thinks she's kind of odd. Everybody thinks she's kind of weird. She's very into her routine. So what is the deal with her? What's the backstory with her? And that's where the book goes. It kind of very slowly gives you her childhood, how she grew up, why she is where she is now, which I thought was interesting. I thought the crescendo of the book, the kind of moving up to the climax, was very interesting. I thought I loved how she gave the little pieces, and it was sort of a mystery to figure out. What kind of let me down at the end was kind of the ending. What let me down at the end was the ending. it was just sort of abrupt. It was sort of, let's tie this all up in a pretty bow and we're done with it. I mean, I was a little bit whiplashed by the ending. It really happened quickly, and it didn't seem to me all that realistic. You know, they kind of tried to like shove a bunch of stuff into the last few chapters that to me didn't seem like a realistic ending. So, you know, I'm not going to be overly, you know, loving this book. I just don't think so. This is going to be one of my shorter book reviews, I think, because I really liked it through the middle part. I thought we were going somewhere, and they just kind of went, you know. It's almost like she didn't know how to end it correctly, and she didn't. So that is my review of Eleanor Oliphant. I don't want to give like a whole bunch away about what her past was. An interesting past could have created a much better ending. You know, kind of maybe a slower build up to the ending. The ending was just like, done, you know. No, like I just didn't like it. So I guess now that I'm talking through it, wasn't my favorite book in the world. But there were parts that I loved about it, and I actually thought she was an interesting character, and I thought everything she had gone through was very interesting. Just they didn't wrap it up well at the end. So what can you do? So anyway, that's Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. It's a Reese Witherspoon book club book. I don't know if that means anything to you. If it does, then maybe pick it up. New York Times bestseller. Doesn't always mean anything. But anyway, I'm kind of on the fence about that one. I'd maybe give it 3 out of 5 stars, 2.5 out of 5, maybe something like that. So, okay, so moving on. I am going next week to visit my sister, who lives in Arizona, and my husband and I are going to the Grand Canyon for a day. I've never been there. Super excited about going. Maybe feel like it might be a letdown by how excited I am about going, but I'm still hopeful that it's going to be a great trip. So anyway, a friend of mine recommended reading The Emerald Mile. Let's see, this is by Kevin Fedarko, and it's the epic story of the fastest ride in history through the heart of the Grand Canyon. So it looks like they're probably on the Colorado River that runs through the Grand Canyon. So this is going to be what I hope to finish next week. As you can see, it's like super duper small letters, and it is long. It's, let's see, there's lots of appendices, so that cuts down on how long it is. But it's, you know, close to 400 pages. So I got a long plane ride, and I have some downtime in the car from the way to Phoenix to the Grand Canyon. So I'm hoping I can get this finished, and then that will be my book for next week. So that is my review for tonight. Pick up the Gnarly Head Pinot Noir. An Eleanor Oliphant, I mean, maybe pick it up. I did like a lot about it, but the ending just really threw me off. So, I don't know. Kind of read some other reviews, decide for yourself. But definitely go in the Gnarly Head Pinot Noir. I will show you my Halloween skull again. All right, guys. One more drink. Happy Sunday. Cheers. Have a great week.